the heart and soul behind every business. Stories. Welcome to Business Story of the Week, hosted by me, Joshua Laurie. From setbacks to comebacks, from tragedies to triumphs, we inspire entrepreneurs through conversations that matter. Witness the magic that turns dreams into reality. Whether it's your career, business, or life, your success is always one story away. This is Business Story of the Week.
Hello, I'm Lauren Callahan, and welcome to Business Story of the Week.
Fantastic. And that is Lauren Callahan. She is our guest for today. And of course, I am Joshua, your host for today and every episode. And today's question is, how can gut health be the secret to unlocking your most powerful version? We are going to be talking about that today. And Lauren is the perfect guest to answer that question. Lauren is a gut health expert, ultra runner, and Reiki master. Lauren Callahan created Goddess Health to help women in their 40s and 50s who are continually frustrated by their inability to improve their energy, mood, sleep, athletic or career performance, weight, or overall health as well. They have been told by their doctor that everything's normal when they know that everything is not normal. Through gut health, Reiki, and inflammation reducing practices, Lauren takes them from feeling crazy, crabby, sluggish, unmotivated, frequently injured, and like they have perpetual RBF. I love RBF. To finding deep inner wells of energy and inner peace, feeling rested and recovered, ditching the bloat and belly fat for good, and ending the cycle of injury and inflammation. Those are very, very exciting stuff right there that I'm very excited to talk about. Lauren, thank you for coming on the show. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you, Joshua, for having me and for that kind introduction.
Well, Lauren, it's just exciting stuff. I love this topic in particular because gut health is a new frontier of science. It's quite groundbreaking the things that we're finding out about how much gut health affects our overall life, right? But Lauren, before we really get into it, I want to talk about the young Lauren Callahan. What did the young Lauren think about gut health? Did she always know she was going to be an ultra runner, a Reiki master, so to speak? What would the young Lauren say about the Lauren today?
I think the young Lauren would not recognize the Lauren Callahan that I am today at
Oh
all.
wow. Mhm.
Running was never on my radar. Gut health was not on my radar
Mhm.
whatsoever. Um, yeah, none of it. None of it.
Wow. Well, it's of course impressive that you are an ultra runner as well, and but I'm quite curious how it went from ultra runner, Reiki master, into gut health. Talk to us a little bit about that journey, and yeah, I'm very excited for you to talk a little bit about your being an ultra runner.
Yeah, thank you. And actually, gut health and Reiki, I would say, started with running for me.
Mm,
So, just about 7 or 8 years ago, I was walking slash jogging a mile a day, and that's it. And I don't mean to undermine that, but I'm just saying, not that long ago, I would have never considered that I would be an ultra runner. And actually, I was very much scrambling to get my life back together. Is very
mm,
much living in scarcity, both in a poverty kind of context, but also scarcity kind of mindset as well.
mm, mm, mm.
So when I did start running, that was a slow progression. I initially started running more just because I was sitting all day for my job, and I knew that I
Right,
needed to
right.
do something.
Mhm.
Uh, Later when I progressed with running, that was actually because that's when I met my husband, and he was
Oh,
training for a half marathon. And so I
that's very
decided
cool.
to train with him.
All
Yeah.
right, okay. So it was the other way around. You got into gut health first, and then Reiki, and then into ultra running eventually.
Well, actually, running was first though. And what happened was
Oh,
I tried for 4 years to run a marathon and I
whoa.
failed every attempt. And I
Oh,
always had an issue with repetitive injury or inflammation
that's it.
recovery, something like that. And so I
Mm-hmm,
really began to get curious about gut health because I was
mm-hmm.
hearing, like you're saying, it's the new frontier, right? And
Yes,
scientists are
truly
calling it
is.
your second brain. It's related to
Mm-hmm,
everything. And I was
mm-hmm,
hearing about how it was improving, people's athletic performance and
mm-hmm,
people who
mm-hmm.
previously were experiencing, sorry, something fell in here, but
That's it.
people who experienced repetitive injuries, they would heal their gut and didn't have that
Mm-hmm.
issue anymore. I definitely had my doubts. What does my gut health have to do with my knee, right? How is
Exactly.
that going to
Mm-hmm.
help things get better?
Exactly.
But yeah, the thing is, I kept coming back to the question,
Mm-hmm,
what if I'm doing all these healthy things for my body? I'm running, I'm eating healthy food, but what if my gut is not healthy enough to receive it? And
mm-hmm.
Joshua, that was one of the best questions that I ever could have asked because my gut was
Precisely.
not healthy
Mm-hmm,
and it was not receiving what I was giving it. And so I went on this 6 month path of
mm-hmm,
improving my gut health, healing my gut. And it was because I
mm-hmm.
wanted to run. I wanted to run better.
Oh, wow.
And I'm so glad that I did because 6 months later, after having struggled 4 years to run a marathon, after healing my gut, I went out and I ran my marathon.
All
But
right.
yeah, not only that though, a couple
Mm-hmm.
months after that, I ran 50 miles. And then
Wow.
after that, I went on to complete my first Ironman. And then I did another 50
Wow.
miler. And
Wow.
then I did
Wow.
another Ironman. I did 100K. And this was all within one
Mm-hmm.
year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just
Wow.
from healing my gut.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
opened up these amazing barriers for
Amazing
me. Yeah, or these amazing
opportunity.
doors. Yes, exactly.
Amazing achievements and that you never thought that you'd probably be capable of because you kept getting injured. You probably felt like you had low energy, and it's really fascinating because, like you said, this all started with gut health. For our audience and listeners out there who probably are not familiar, gut health affects not just our physical performance, but it does affect everything from your mood to your mental focus to really your overall well being. Lauren, talk to us a bit how you got into that. And of course, you talk about the 6 months journey that allowed you to recover your gut health, so to speak. But how did you first start getting into it? Because for our audience and listeners out there, gut health is, like you said, what does it have to do with my knee?
Yeah. So, yeah, as I went on this process of healing my gut over 6 months, certainly what I was able to do athletically was really cool. It was really
Mm,
cool to go and run that much and do Ironmans and all that.
mm,
But what happened along the way is that I would have all these moments where I'd say, wait a minute. It's exactly like you said, like it's related to your mood, everything else, right? So I'd have all these moments where I'd say, oh my God, I depression and anxiety and mood issues like I used to, they were gone,
mm, mm.
or the edges were taken off, I should say.
Okay.
Actually, when I introduced Reiki later on, and so we can get to that, is actually
Mhm,
when I discovered this thing, the whole new level of health when it came to my mood. But I would have these other moments where I'd say, wait a minute, I'm sleeping now. I used to have a problem with sleep. I couldn't go to sleep for
mhm,
whatever reason, racing thoughts, couldn't fall asleep or wake up. And now that I improved my gut health, I wasn't having an issue sleeping. Brain
mm,
fog, that was not an issue.
mm. Oh,
Certainly energy, that was better. Inflammation, recovery, all of that was better. Immunity. I used
wow.
to get sick all the
Mhm,
time and would just chalk
wow.
it up to allergies, asthma. I chalked it up to being normal. And I would say that, with
Mhm,
the people that I work with, this is what I hear all the times. People say, my doctor's telling me everything is normal, but I know everything is not normal.
mhm,
And this was my experience. There were many things that I should have, come to just accept as normal. But once I improved my gut health, they weren't an issue anymore. And it's like we said, it's attached to everything, right?
mhm,
So for me, how did I get into this? It's after healing my own gut over that 6 month period and realizing how pervasive gut health was
Absolutely.
to touching
Absolutely.
every bit of my health. I would
Mm-hmm.
see other people suffering. I was actually a therapist at the time. I'd have people coming into my
Mm-hmm.
office
Mm-hmm.
just suffering, right? And I wanted
Oh
to be
wow.
able to help them on a deeper level, right? Including
Mm-hmm.
gut health with their mood, right? Like I
Of
saw it
course.
firsthand with myself and I wanted to
Of
help them
course.
with that. So that is how I got into
And
practicing gut health with others.
and Lauren, of course, gut health would naturally, or for again, for our audience and listeners out there that we're trying to educate, gut health mainly is talking about, or gut health science is talking about, the microbiome in your gut. It's like the bacteria, the good bacteria that is in your gut, that actually we actually need to keep them in there.
That's
We
right.
need to take care of them in there more than we think. That, we feel like some of this might not be good, but there are actually good bacteria in there. The gut microbiome that we take care of in our in our body, basically. Lauren, how do we even start? How do we even start getting there to taking care of our health? Give us a little bit of an overview for our audience and listeners out there. What kind of food do we need to be taking in? And for you yourself, what did you start eating yourself? How did you start getting your gut health together?
Yeah, for sure. So I really like to use the analogy of a
Mm-hmm.
forest biome,
Wow.
right? So if you think about a
Mm-hmm.
forest, if you walk out into an area and you look off in the distance, 5 miles away and see a tree, then you would say something is wrong with this forest, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no
Mm-hmm.
population of trees.
Mm-hmm.
And like you mentioned a minute ago with bacteria, think about our gut microbiomes in the same light as a forest is to trees, right? That
Mm-hmm.
is how our gut is with bacteria. Our gut loves bacteria and it wants a strong population of bacteria, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So going along with that forest analogy as well, if you went into an area and now you see lots of trees, right? But say
Yes.
maybe, there's only pine trees. You don't see
Mm-hmm.
any hardwoods or
Yeah.
flowers or animals
Mm-hmm.
or,
Mm-hmm.
mushrooms, right? You would question the health of the forest again because there's no diversity. And it's the
I see.
same with our gut. Our gut
I see.
wants a diversity of bacteria, which is why you can't live just on Cheetos, right? Because there would be no
Oh
diversity, right? You're eating
no.
one thing. I mean, that's a joke for sure. But
Yes,
but
yes,
the
yes.
point is that, your gut really likes a good population and diversity of bacteria. It also really likes balance. So,
Oh
going
yes,
back
of
to the
course.
forest, if you
Mm-hmm.
saw nothing but deer, there was no other kind of animal, you would see something is out of balance here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with our gut. When
Mm-hmm.
we cut out, for example, maybe major food groups, right, in the name of,
Yes.
maybe we're trying to lose weight so we do nothing but eat meat, or something like that, right? There are a million
Mm-hmm.
diets out there, or we take out all carbs because we think carbs are bad, or we take
Yes.
out fat, right? Women in
Mm-hmm.
particular tend to think that eating fat is a bad thing, right? Your gut
Mm-hmm.
doesn't like that. It wants to have balance, right?
Precisely.
Um, and the last thing I like to think of with the forest analogy is that in a forest there are invasive species.
Yes,
So
of
where
course.
I live in
Mm-hmm.
Louisiana, an invasive species that we have is the wild hog, the wild pig,
Right.
right? It
Mm-hmm.
it tears up the forest floor. If
Mm-hmm.
you see a torn up forest floor and there's no wildlife around, you know that
Mm-hmm.
feral hogs have been in there and they have ravaged the
Yes.
health of the forest. And so the
Yes.
same thing with our gut microbiome. There are things that are like invasive species to our guts that will tear up the health of your gut. So, for example, eating a lot of highly processed foods,
Yes,
or
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, or having too much food that's high in highly refined sugars,
Mm-hmm.
excessive alcohol or caffeine, like the
Mm-hmm.
excessive stress.
Mm-hmm.
Those are
Mm-hmm.
things that will really ravage the gut of your forest. I mean, I'm
How
sorry,
about the
the
good
health of your
ones?
gut.
The health of your gut, which is precisely the forest, so to speak, right?
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that analogy because it's almost like what they say about its biodiversity, right? In the forest, it's one thing to pledge planting 1 million trees, right? There's always these missions out, like this green missions, environmental outreach there to plant your own trees for every purchase of whichever, right? It's one thing to pledge planting a tree, but the biodiversity that comes with it is different, right? Like we could plant a million other trees, new trees out there, but the biodiversity of life, the plant life, of the literally the bug life as well, right? Like the birds and all that, it's different, right? So I love that analogy because that means we need to have you introduce, we need to keep the good bacteria, introduce a good bacteria. And one of these things for our audience and listeners out there would be the probiotics, right? You know, our gut loves fermented. Like I personally love kimchi. I love kimchi. Yeah, eating kimchi.
Yes,
I try to
yes.
eat kimchi every day. I try to put it in every meal that I have. I also love yogurt. That is my dessert. This is my guilty pleasure. It's like my ice cream, so to speak. Lori, what would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
yours? What would be your favorite good bacteria food, so to speak?
Yeah, well, I love that you brought that up because, yes, one of the things that helps support the population and diversity of bacteria in your gut is eating, for example, fermented foods. And so,
Hmm.
my favorites actually, I have two, and it's because I make them at home now. I make my
Okay,
own
okay. Wow,
kombucha
wow.
and I make my own
Kombucha,
yogurt.
of course.
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
those are
That's it.
fermented foods that will
Those
support
are very
your gut.
very perfect. I love those for our audience and listeners out there. Look it up. There's a lot of good food, fermented food out there that our gut loves, and it's most of them are probiotics. And of course, the like you said, Lauren, balance is important. You know, you don't want to be focusing too much on just like, for example, just a carnivore diet, so to speak. You're leaning towards just one type of, you know, nutrition regimen. You need to have a balance of it. And speaking of balance, Lauren, your website is called goddesshealth.org for our audience and listeners out there. And of course, for everyone else who wants to learn more about Lauren, the website is Lauren B. Callahan. But Lauren, you talk about in your website, this new website of yours, goddesshealth.org, is because you also got into Reiki, like you said. You talked about that and you mentioned that a little bit, and it allowed you to achieve this next level of mood and energy. Lori, talk to us a bit about that and how much did it change your life and how much did it complement your your new frontier in gut health?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, gut health was definitely a new frontier for me and brought incredible amounts of healing that I
Hmm.
had not known was possible. I accepted things as normal, right? Like, again, many people have come to me and said, my doctor says everything's normal.
Ah,
Reiki took things to a whole nother level. So for me,
right.
Reiki is an energy healing practice. Maybe for those who don't know, who have never
Hmm.
experienced it, right? We are all
Hmm.
made of energy, and it is simply a way of channeling life force energy to heal and balance on all
Yes.
levels. So physical, mental, emotional.
Right.
Reiki goes to the
Okay.
source
Oh my
of whatever is
gosh.
in need of healing. Yeah, so some people are really going to experience, maybe everybody's going to experience it differently. So for one person, maybe they are going to experience healing that is more, having to do with chronic illnesses or
Okay.
injuries, pain, right? Or
Hmm.
balancing hormones. While somebody else is going to notice that, their mood is better than it's ever been. They don't have the
Hmm.
depression and anxiety that they used to. Some
Interesting.
people experience detox like symptoms, right? And
Huh.
I'll say I have experienced all of the above for this. One reason I highlight the detox was because,
Please.
when I improved my gut health, I mean, you have to think by the time I practiced Reiki, I had been healing my gut, for a long time now, right?
Yes,
Like
of
I
course. Uh-huh.
never had bathroom issues, like no gastrointestinal issues anymore.
Okay, okay, okay.
And then I experienced Reiki and I had detox symptoms. And I remember thinking,
Hmm.
what am I detoxing from? Here's the thing,
Exactly.
Reiki knows how to heal and balance at the source, right? So we
Okay.
don't always, we don't have to direct
Hmm.
that process.
Oh, Jesus
It can also
Christ. Okay.
happen at a distance, right? A lot of
Okay.
people aren't familiar with that. Traditionally, it's done in person.
Mhm.
But Reiki can also be done at a distance. Energy is not bound by time and space in the way that we are. So that allows me to work with
Mm,
people all over the world.
fascinating. I mean, Lauren, it's of course Reiki. I feel like it's a great complement right now with gut health, because physically, of course, allows us gut health physically allows us to improve more a lot of our physical well-being. I feel like
Mm.
Reiki is there for more of a like profoundness of life, so to speak. Having life feel a bit more profound, allowing you to, like you said, in our in your bio, in your introduction, wells of energy, like this newfound
Mm.
like second what do you call that, the second breath, the second air in life, right, so to speak. And I love that you said it's like it doesn't have, it could be at a distance, it could be nearby, you could work with people wherever you are and wherever they are in the world. Of course, once again, ladies and gentlemen, the website is goddesshealth.org. Very, very interesting stuff right here. And of course, the journey of Lauren herself is quite remarkable, very, I mean, I'm all for it. Like, I'm quite, again, I was very excited with the gut health and all of that. Was excited to talk about it. If you want to learn more about Lauren, you can check out her website as well, Lauren B. Callahan. Lauren, where else can we find you? Where else can we learn more about you? Would love to get connected.
Yeah, for sure. So if you go to goddesshealth.org, you
Mhm,
can get access to, you can get my book, Powerful Not Tired. And this is a new
mhm,
release for me. And so
mhm,
this book goes a lot more in depth about gut health and Reiki and also self care. So these are the three things that I base my practice around. So yeah, goddesshealth.org, you can get that book. You also get an opportunity for a very introductory gut health assessment. So you
mhm,
can take this
mhm.
assessment and hop on a 15-minute call with me to get you started as far as improving your gut health and, a more individualized, with an individualized kind of map there. So yeah.
I love that. Of course, the book again is Powerful Not Tired. I love that title, by the way. Powerful Not Tired. If you ever want to feel that, like that, ladies and gentlemen, feeling chronically tired, we don't. Nobody wants to feel like that. But if you want to be feeling powerful, you know, achieve more of your dreams, achieve more of your goals, and just improve your happiness and well-being. Well, there's that website and that book to check out. You want to learn more? There's look no further than Lauren. And Lauren, it's been great. I truly love what you talk about, and I've had, I'm just happy that we got the platform to finally talk about gut health. Um, and I was pretty happy about that. Lauren, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Joshua.
Thank you for so much for sharing your story, and to all our audience and listeners out there, thank you for watching the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, the website is laurenbcallahan.com. Go check out her book. Also check out her new website, goddesshealth.org. And Lauren, let's do this another time, maybe for a longer
Absolutely.
one, and I talk about a lot more things in depth. I have a health show that I'm about to launch, and I'd love to invite you there as well.
Awesome. Would love that.
Fantastic. To all our audience listeners out there, thank you for watching this episode, and we will see you on the next one. Bye bye.
All right, so here's the thing. We try to get a little bit better every day, but we can't do it without you. So if you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe below. And if you have any comments, just leave them in the space under.